Welcome back, and we have Marcus Smart joining us. I'm pretty jealous of the robe. I actually was going to wear that, but producers told me I had to dress nice today. I know that it's cold in here, but give us the rundown.
Yeah, it is cold in here, so I'm surprised. You don't have a sweater or something on, but I walked in the locker room today to get dressed, and there's Andy. I'm like, what is this?
Good old Andy Mannix.
Listen, good old
Always
Andy
there when you
Mannix.
need him, right?
Always there. Love Andy, great guy. And I'm like, Andy, what is this box in my life? He's like, hey, it's for you. I'm like, okay. So I pick it up, and it's a robe. And I'm like, oh, so, we get team robes. He's like, no, it's one of one. I'm like, so, there's just one. He's like, yeah, it's yours.
Okay.
So they decided to make a robe, and I guess I'll be the one to have it just because they see me in all my robes, and I like to wear robes.
Are your teammates jealous?
Yeah, they're very jealous, but it's cool. I'm going to get them one for their birthdays.
Okay. All right. Yeah. There you go. Taking care of everyone.
Got to.
But, you were able to play in the FIBA World Cup with your teammates, Jalen and Jayson, and then your new teammate, Kemba Walker. What was that experience like for you, not only getting an opportunity to play, but also use that time to kind of gel with each other before heading into training camp?
It was amazing. Being able to go out there and represent your country is something that as kids we dream of as athletes, and there's very few people that can say that. The outcome didn't go as we wanted, but we still went out there and we fought as hard as we could. So, and being able to do it with those guys, Kemba, Jayson, and Jalen, it just makes things even more better for us and exciting. We got to bond and get that chemistry going a lot earlier than most teams probably would. And then for us, that was huge, and we got to learn a little bit more. Even me and Jayson and Jalen, we've been knowing each other for a while, but we got to learn even more in depth about each other and what we want to do for the season.
What's maybe something that you learned that maybe you didn't already know?
About
Jalen and Jayson?
So I didn't know Jayson had is doing little shoots for making his own cologne.
Oh yes,
so,
the Abercrombie.
I seen that. So
You gonna try some of it?
No.
You
I
don't
smelled
wear
it. I smelled it.
Yeah.
More power to Jayson. Shout out. I mean, it's a good cologne. And for Jalen, I didn't know he was gonna cut his hair.
I don't think any of us knew.
Yeah, but I had a feeling just talking to him out there. He was kind of ready to give it up.
He said we'll have to wait and see with the beard, though.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
I'm curious if that's going to come off, too.
Yeah, exactly. And then Kemba, I learned a lot of things about Kemba that I didn't know. He's a funny guy, but talking to Kemba felt like he's been with us for years. And that's the beauty of having that extra time to build that chemistry with those guys.
How is he as a leader? He said that he kind of likes to take the approach of sitting back, watching, and then interjecting when he can. Kind of soft-spoken.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's a little guy, soft-spoken, but his voice is deep. So when he says something, you hear him. But he likes to just sit back and kind of survey the field and then kind of go from there. He plays hard, and I think, every guy in his size, I think that's one thing that they have that a lot of people kind of forget is their tenacity, because they're so small that people think they could pick on them, and they're probably the hardest guys to go at on the offensive end because they are so feisty. But he definitely is a soft-spoken guy, but he speaks up when he needs to.
Well, Derrick Rose has a new autobiography out titled I'll Show You, and we're going to bring up the graphics so you can I know you've already seen it, but high praise for you, Marcus, saying that like Marcus Smart is a hooper. Analytics, you would say no way you want him, but when you go out there and watch the game, you say, of course I want him on my team, make shots, period. That's a guy I love playing with. You obviously loved it. You shared it on social media as well. But for you personally, what does that mean, Marcus, to know that you have that reputation from other guys around the league and they want to play with you?
Well, first, it's just a huge shout out to Derrick Rose for that. One of the greatest players that I think to ever play this game at the point guard position. The athleticism that he brought to this game, and just the way he plays, he defines the definition of a true hooper. And, for him to put me in his little book that he has and everything like that, and to give me my props was something that, meant a lot. I talked about that the whole day once I heard about it and seen it. But that's it. I think we get caught up so much in analytics that we watch the numbers instead of watching the game
Right.
a lot of the time, and it's a lot of things that stats don't take down into consideration. That if they did, we'll probably be talking about a lot of players that we don't talk about today, including myself. But that just goes to show that the things that I'm doing are not going unnoticed. Even amongst my peers and my colleagues, and I go out there and I think they see that every time I play.
I want to revisit a conversation that we had at your camp, and you had told me that you plan to come back a different player than you've ever been. For the fans, what motivated you to make that change, and what differences will they see in your game?
Just a lot more aggressiveness. Each and every year, I think I became more aggressive on the offensive end. My shooting has, went up every year, and I continue to work on it. But just really, being even more focused this year than I probably ever was in my career of, understanding the game, understanding what I have to do to help this team and try to make sure that our energy never dies. And a little bit more calm this year in the sense of, keeping myself in the game, not getting too many ejections and fines and things like that because my team needs me.
When you mentioned trying to keep yourself calm, is there almost like mental checks that you go through when you try not to get wound up a little bit, or how does that work?
Yeah, sometimes it happens, just in the middle of the game, the adrenaline's going and you just kind of react. But, this year being, going into my 6th year and being the longest tenured on the team, I know how detrimental having me out is to the team, and it really takes a toll on my teammates to see me not out there because, the energy that I do bring helps them a lot as well. So, for me, it's, I'm thinking more and more about, less selfishness about myself and more about this team this year.
With being the longest tenured Celtic, do you feel that there's an added responsibility to represent the Boston Celtics, the toughness and just the history, but also to instill what you've learned to these guys as well?
I definitely do. If anybody knows Boston, the hardworking, blue collar, just get down and dirty and go get it type of city and things like that Boston is. And I think it's proven throughout the sports teams that all they do is win, and that shows you. So, being the longest tenured Celtic, being able to embody that and being able to have that name as being the longest guy here, those guys look up to that, and those young guys see that, and my job is to make sure that they know and understand what that means.
Well, Marcus, you're obviously loved by all the fans here in Boston. One fan in particular, Lindsay Ray, actually on Twitter, she had some extra wood scraps. We had the tweet conversation that we're going to bring up here in a minute, but she made and carved a sign saying, "In this house, we do not slander Marcus Smart." You obviously loved that, retweeted her and said, "A house on sand versus a house on Smart." What was your initial reaction when you saw this sign?
It was funny because a couple of my friends and my agent and everybody kind of pointed it out to me, and I was like, "Who is this? Like, what? Like, I think this is real creative.
Yeah,
like, this is awesome." And especially for me because my name is majority of the time slandered with negativity about flopping or I'm not this good of a player. So to see that and was very refreshing for me. But I loved it. I love everything about it. I love the creativity, and I just love what it stood for.
Do you have one of these signs?
I do not. I actually need one.
Okay, well, it's your lucky day. We actually have one for you. So we're gonna bring this out. This is from my amazing coworker Logan.
Oh, this is awesome.
So now you have one.
I do, and this will be right by my dresser in my bed, right by my bed. So, I wake up every day to it. So. Thank you.
Yes. Well, you can keep that, and you're coming away with all these goodies today,
I know,
Marcus.
Right? I got a robe. I got this. Like, what's next?
You're making out well.
Exactly.
Well, Marcus, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And don't go anywhere. We will have Daniel Tice on after this.